What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel where you watch me make really poor decisions with old drift cars. So, yes, we are with the ae86. It's no longer going to be possum powered. If you can't tell, we are missing a very key component inside of this car to make it run. The last video I posted about this car, I go and grab the motor from Dan, so go check it out. In this video, hopefully we are going to be getting this engine bay ready to have a motor in it. The story on this car is very interesting. There was at some point a JZ stuck inside of this thing. I'm trying to find some photos of it, but you can see they went to town hammering this thing. I just want to build a car that I'm pretty proud of, so we're just gonna get this thing looking, you know, good from 20 feet away. So besides an actual motor and transmission to get this going, there's a few key components that this car needs. It was cut off, or the engine mounts were cut off from the crossmember at some point. So Dan has a crossmember that I might buy, but we might make some to sit the motor a little bit lower, but we'll see. The car itself was a 4AC powered SR5 car that was completely automatic. You'll also notice that the slave cylinders and master cylinder, or the master cylinder that goes to the slave, is completely, plugged up how it would be from factory. So we're gonna have to get a third pedal and a master cylinder for that. But since we are going back to a 4AG, all the holes are still here for everything we need. I think we can use this throttle cable still, so I am keeping it here dangling. The speedometer will bolt right into the T50 transmission because it is the same as the SR5. So, but I guess the first order of business here is just to make this look decent for when we put it in. So I'm gonna go with like a nice Cusco blue. I think it'll be cool because it matches the interior, and then probably just do like a couple coats of clear coat over it just to give it look somewhat presentable. I mean, the thing is pretty thrashed, so just to make it look better than this is what we're after. But I don't know, I kind of love, the patina of 86s, and especially this one just being one that was like a gift. I almost want to keep it just as it is. So things like this are really cool to keep, and I really like the weathering of the cowl and such. But I did paint these factory windshield wipers black, and I think it cleaned it up a lot. A big part of not wanting to go crazy with a lot of the fixing of this car is that you can see here there's a lot of rust under that cowl, but don't notice that. It's cool, dude. It's all right. So we picked up some Montana because we're truly degenerates, and we got the white stuff, which means they're really down bad. Okay, so we let the paint dry on the bay. We got a couple other things that we just finished up to get. I keep going back and forth with thinking if I want to do a brake master delete or not, but for now we're just gonna run the stock one. Cleaned it up pretty good. Gonna do new hose clamps on this, but for being 40 years old, I'm blown away that it's in the condition that it is. God, the brake boosters sure are goofy. I might get one of those. I think JSP makes it, but a brake booster delete. I got a clutch pedal. I went and picked this up from my friend Trevor. He is like the S-chassis guy, but he lived in like the Croatian islands or something with his wife for a little bit when they got married, and he had an automatic SR586 and bought this to manual swap it, never did, so he's just happy it went to a good home. What's funny about this, let's ignore the mess in here, boys, but so you'll see I have my brake pedal, and it is the automatic brake pedal, so we're gonna have to cut that down and extend it unless I get a actual manual brake pedal. But there was just like a piece of sound deadening that was already like perforated that all I had to do was yank out right there. Now, unfortunately, on the SR5s, or all the automatic 86s, I should say, it's missing a bracket that this top hole mounts to. So we're gonna have to make one of those and weld it on. But for now, we're just gonna put the third pedal in. Some people just drill a hole into like the windshield wiper cowl, and they can just bolt it right in with a bolt and a nut. But we're gonna try and get this proper so it doesn't make the So that was the Morrissey halftime show. Okay, absolute change of plans. I was gonna go get my 4A in the T50 from Dan's house this weekend, but we're going to Minnesota right now to buy another 4A GE. 6 hours one way. Victory. There she blows, boys. So we picked this up yesterday. We found this last week on Facebook Marketplace. The guy was located in the Twin Cities, and he said he pulled this thing out to go 20 valve instead. For the most part, it's pretty clean. Hilarious oil pan gasket job. But for the most part, I'm pretty stoked on how really complete this thing is. I haven't seen a 4AG, especially for sale, this complete in a really, really long time. Look at that, even has the factory air intake boot. But some usual grime throughout here in the middle of the valve cover gasket. But yeah, gonna clean this thing up a little bit. We might throw it in the car just to mock things up. Because, you know, if you're cold, they're cold, so we gotta get it inside here. Alright, now I'm about to take all the TVIS, the TVIS system. This is like an EGR. We're just gonna delete this. So Chance and me are gonna try and put this motor in the bay. Let's see like over here. It's pretty light. It's just kind of awkward to get it over the hump, you know. Thor. That's what Kaylee called you. You called Thor. Perfect. Okay. My thought process here is kind of working. What's that noise? Fuck that timing band.
I hope so. I don't see why not. I mean, the hard part is going to be once we have the full weight, but then the hard part is going to be...
I'll start over there maybe.
Because we can't...
Once it's in there...
If that bar was long enough, we could go on... I think once that wheel comes out the middle, it becomes... fit along the side if we lift this up like right there. Do you fit alongside the top?
Now what?
Okay, what?
Huge thank you to Chance for helping me get this in. This is literally just where it's gonna get stored right now while I work on it, so it's kind of out of the elements, but yeah, dude, pretty exciting to actually have a 4A in this car. Got to go down to Kansas and pick up Dan's and the T50 so I can mate that up to it. But I mean, every little component is here. It just needs I'm trying to think, water pump, needs the dipstick, starter, and exhaust, and that's pretty much it.